Hi, this is Anna Horford, and you're listening to Horford Happy Hour. Hey guys, thanks for joining me on another episode of Horford Happy Hour. This week, we're going to do kind of a little Celtics preview. I know everyone's really excited about the season, and I'm very excited as well. And so my guest this week is Josue Pavon, and he's been on the pod a few times. He is also part of the CLNS family, and he is also on the Causeway Street podcast. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy media schedule with the Celtics to sit down with me and talk about this.
Oh, thanks for having me on, Anna. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been hectic over here, as you can imagine. Media day and day one of training camp. But it's great. I'm excited. It's been it's good to get back into the flow of things.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys have a lot going on, and I know that there was just a ton of buzz yesterday, and everyone was really excited to kind of interview the players and get a feel for how the season was going to go. But before we jump into that, I want to introduce the wine this week. So it's called Substance, and it's out of Washington State. And the reason I picked it was because on the label, it has a huge capital C and a lowercase s because it's a Cabernet. And so I thought it was perfect because it said C's on it, which a lot of people reference the Celtics as the C's. So I thought that it was, really good wine for this week. And I did send Josue a bottle. He hasn't been able to drink it yet, but he's going to let me know how it is when he does.
Yes, definitely. I'll definitely get into that. The last one I really liked. I'm not a huge wine drinker, but it was really good. So, I can imagine, of course, you have great taste after, the first one. So I can't wait to get into the second one.
Yeah, definitely. And I kind of just go on to wine.com. I have a membership with them now because I send out so many bottles to people that I just go on and I pick their most popular varieties. Usually I try to keep it under $30 or whatever. So wine.com, I would recommend it. And, they should probably sponsor me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a great call, actually. We should get that going with CLNS.
Just a little shout out there, wine.com, no pressure or anything. So Josue, you mentioned that you were doing media day. And so I just want to ask you, how was it this year?
It was incredible, Anna. Everyone is just so ecstatic, to see how this team's going to unfold, completely at full strength. And you can see that within the players. I feel like no one could stop smiling, it wasn't just, the younger guys and, of course, the veterans who have been doing this for quite some time. Kyrie Irving talked about how he couldn't believe this is his 8th media day. But, he's the one that stood out for me. He stood out the most. He couldn't stop smiling. Couldn't stop talking about how excited he was, how he's so at peace with everything, his situation here in Boston. You go back 1 year ago, it was kind of a hard time for him. There's a lot of questions surrounding his leadership and surrounding, how he's going to mesh in the Celtics culture. How is he going to do without LeBron James? Why did he want to leave LeBron James to begin with? Why did he want out of Cleveland? So with a lot of that going on, I felt like he wasn't dialed in as much as he was this time around. That's, of course, because of what he talked about, at the press table, how at peace he is being a member of the Boston Celtics, being in this leadership role and having 1 year under his belt with the Celtics.
Definitely. And I can totally piggyback on that. I wasn't there, but I was secretly, watching at work the Celtics media day interviews and whatnot. And every single guy was so geeked. Even Al, everyone was just smiling. And I feel like they have all these jitters and stuff because they're so excited about what's to come. I think that that's very, very cool.
It's like they're all anxious. They can't wait to get going because they know how much talent they have. They've been playing pickup games before training camp, and I got a glimpse of that today, not too long ago, actually, about an hour ago, at the end of training camp here. They let us in to watch sort of the final couple of minutes, and, it was a close game. You could see the competitiveness, and then Kyrie Irving sunk a 3-pointer to put the starters ahead. What was it, 30-29? I'm actually looking at the scoreboard right now as we speak. 30-29 with 2.6 seconds left, and it's just like, oh man, it's just like a glimpse of what's to come in the regular season. Kyrie Irving with the ball in his hands in the last, 8 seconds. And, he drained one right from deep and, put them ahead.
So the starters won that round, but the BWA held their own, right?
Yes, yes, the BWA. Oh yeah, of course, Anna, you're hip. You know already. The BWA is real. It's a movement that's already started from when Marcus Morris brought it up in media day. There was a question that was brought up to Brad Stevens, and he was like, "Look, I love that. I love the identity for this second unit. I don't know who's put it out there that I already know who the starting five is going to be. I mean, according to you guys, of course, talking to the media, Brad Stevens, like, you guys already know my starting unit before I do, but the bench is always subject to change, but obviously everyone buying into their role is something that that is a common theme, going to be a common theme throughout the regular season. And it's something that he loves to see from his guys this early on in the season.
For sure. And if you weren't paying attention to media day, BWA is kind of playing off of NWA, so it's bench with attitude. That's what it is, right?
That's right. That's right. Marcus Morris brought it up. He said that's what he calls everyone, and it just took off from there. And I think it's something that's going to be funny to see, from the very beginning of the season. Last season we had Scary Terry. We had, all kinds of other these weird Celtics Twitter hashtags going on. So if you can add BWA to the mix throughout the entire season, and I can't wait to see. And it just speaks to the depth, obviously, of this team. We saw that, we envisioned it heading into training camp, and for everyone to embrace it, obviously, is huge for this squad. Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, Marcus Morris, three guys I think are going to lead that squad. And from top to bottom, I think everyone's going to have a part, and have to step up when things happen throughout the course of a regular season, whether it's injuries, whether it's, guys aren't playing as well. I just think the depth of the squad is what's going to get them so far.
Yeah. And I was actually going to say, like, something that I was thinking about all day today. I was like looking on social media, and they already have BWA shirts out.
Oh, of course. You already know. Celtics Twitter doesn't mess around. They waste no time. We saw what happened with the Scary Terry t-shirts. Barstool, I think it was, what was it, 30,000? Or I don't know, I think it was way more than that. I forget how many they sold, but it was a lot. I think I'm selling them short big time now. Off the top of my head, I want to say, like 100,000 shirts. Maybe that's too much. I forget how many it was, but, nonetheless, it was a lot of t-shirts, and you see it around the city. I live in Boston, of course, and I'm always around, and throughout the summer, even after the playoffs wrapped up, I saw Scary Terry shirts all the time. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to ask, just because you were there, were there any like media day surprises or like favorite quotes or anything like that kind of stood out to you?
Surprises? Not really, but I think some of the quotes, there were some quotes that stood out. What Marcus Smart had to say about what basketball means to him was amazing. I love the metaphor of, the eye of the storm, and, that's where he's at peace with, on the basketball court, dealing with the loss of his mother, of course. Is a lot heading into training camp, but he talked about the support from his team, from, obviously the organization, and then how he described what basketball truly means to him. I just think, it's like him in a nutshell, and that's why you see what you see on the court, him diving for loose balls and not afraid to take charges. And, it's just, this is where he feels at peace and where he can be, put everything else to the side. So I thought that was a quote that certainly stood out. I loved what Gordon Hayward had to say about the youngsters, what Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Terry Rozier meant to this team throughout the postseason run last year. And he said, like, look, you can make an argument that these guys have more playoff experience than I do. Someone who's never been on an Eastern Conference final stage or a conference final stage when he was, playing for Utah out west. And I just think that speaks volumes for how impressed guys like him and Kyrie Irving, who of course, echoed the same sentiments about what those guys did throughout the postseason, because that's what's going to make the difference, Anna. We talk about this team going to the NBA finals, which is obviously what everyone's projecting them to head towards. But I think for people who are selling them short against the Golden State Warriors, I think that's what they're sort of overlooking right now. And of course, it is very early, but you can't help but think what's going to happen when Jason Tatum, guys like, Jaylen Brown, Terry Rozier, when their number is called in the big moments, especially in the postseason, which they've already proven that they can deliver. What's going to happen when you put those guys next to a healthy Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward? It's almost scary when you think about what they've done in the postseason, and you have someone like Kyrie Irving who's been there, who's won a championship, who's hit the big shots, arguably the biggest shot, or not arguably, he did hit the biggest shot in Cavaliers basketball history Game 7 against the Warriors, the shot that put them ahead, that brought them back, that sealed the comeback from a 3-1 deficit. I mean, we know what he can do. We've seen what the young guys can do. Put them in a 7-game series against the Warriors. I think the Celtics have not only a legitimate shot, but they have a chance, whether it's in 6 games or 7 games, to knock off the Warriors.
So what I want to know is what or who do you think will surprise people the most about this season?
All right. I'm going to say Tatum. And I know people are going to say like, all right, well, Tatum's going to be impressive, but I envision Tatum as being sort of the second option for this team. And I know like the Celtics have always had the culture of, everyone sort of, especially on offense, everyone, has each other's back and the ball, gets shared and, defensively is the true identity of this team. But I just think Jason Tatum is someone that's going to make the strides to be sort of the unofficial number 2 option alongside with Kyrie Irving. I just think he's that good. I think he's going to make a tremendous stride from his rookie season to his second year. And I think that people are going to be somewhat surprised in that leap so early in his career. I have him being an all-star this season. I just think he is that good. And I think that, with that experience that he had throughout the postseason last year, it's just going to make him that much better. And his confidence is through the roof right now. I think that's the one guy that's going to really surprise people throughout the course of the regular season.
Yeah. And I think like the most fun thing, like the best thing that's going to happen this season is people being shocked and surprised by our players. I feel like I agree with you, coming out of their shells and making an even bigger impact than they did last season. Like I think people who are not part of the Celtics fan base or whatever, I think that they really underestimate our depth and our talent. And I'm sure you heard the guys speak about it at Media Day and probably, people speaking about it a little bit today at their practice. But I really think that people are I don't think it's as hype outside of the Celtics community as we think it is.
Absolutely. I think everyone has sort of put the Celtics as the favorite out of the East, but why does that have to stop there? Why can't the Celtics give the Warriors a legitimate shot? Look, I'm not favoring the Celtics over the Warriors. The Warriors are the clear-cut favorite, for 2019 finals. But I just think the Celtics are a lot closer than other people think. I think the gap is closer than a lot of other people think. And, it's funny. That was actually a question that was brought up to Kyrie Irving during Media Day. And he said, look, the potential is there. The talent is there. But in terms of closing that gap, we have to prove it. And of course, that's true. We're not even in preseason yet. It's still very early. But the fact that people are overlooking the talent and the potential of these guys, even after what they saw last year, minutes away from the NBA Finals, no Irving, no Hayward. I mean, I saw basketball experts giving the Celtics no chance against the Bucks, giving them no chance against the Sixers. And you see what these young guys did without their big, the biggest acquisitions that summer in Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward. And it's just like, why sell these guys short, But that's what the regular season's for. That's where we're going to see what this team is made of. And I can't wait to see the whole thing unfold.
I'm right there with you. I think we're going to scare the shit out of people. Like if everyone can stay healthy, I think that, we can go all the way. I'm so excited for it. But in the meantime, who in the East do you think is going to give us the most problems or the most trouble?
I'm going to say Toronto. And I know Kawhi Leonard is obviously the big if in this, in seeing how far the Raptors go, because it's all up to him. But if he's able to, and I think he will be, that's why I'm putting them, this high, in terms of being the Celtics' biggest threat. If he's able to return to what we saw 2 years ago, I think the Toronto Raptors are right there. I mean, the Celtics are still the favorite. There is a window between the two, but I just don't see Philadelphia being able to top the Raptors if Kawhi Leonard returns to who he was. I mean, Kawhi Leonard 2 years ago, in my opinion, was the MVP of the playoffs. I mean, this guy carried the Spurs, and which, obviously what happened last year frustrating the organization because they just knew they didn't have a shot without him. And he is that good. When he's healthy, he is a top 5 player. He's already the best two-way player in the league. What he does on both ends of the floor and the killer instinct and the fact that he's the closer, can close out games. That is huge for the Raptors because that's been their biggest problem the last 2-3 years. Guys like DeRozan just didn't show up in the big moments in the postseason. Kyle Lowry, couldn't find his offense in the big games throughout the playoffs, throughout his career. That's just sort of been his MO. And now they're putting all their eggs into this basket where they traded away DeMar DeRozan. They got Kawhi Leonard for 1 year. They don't know if he's going to commit and stick around after this year, but they're putting all their money on this season. And I think if you look at what Kawhi Leonard has done in the past, and he wants to prove this is a prove it to me season, and for him to try to get that huge contract next year, he knows he has to deliver. And I think in the Eastern Conference, being in a weaker conference and having that opportunity and getting all those touches is going to benefit him the most. So yeah, I got the Raptors right there. And then, the Bucks are in the mix as well. And I'm going to put the Bucks pretty much neck and neck, if not a little above the Sixers. I'm just not impressed with what they did throughout the playoffs, and they didn't really do much throughout the off season. I didn't see any big signing. I mean, Wilson Chandler is a solid defender, but for the most part, they're banking on guys like Markelle Fultz to emerge. They're banking on Ben Simmons to make this huge leap. And, I just don't think the talent level is quite there when you look at a Raptors team or a Bucks team with guys that have already proven themselves in the postseason, have proven themselves throughout the course of the regular season as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to give a few quick points on those teams real quick. But first I want to say regarding Toronto and Kawhi and whatnot, I actually feel really bad that his awkward laugh went viral.
Do you think it wasn't fake, right? I mean, at first I thought it was fake, and then I was like, no, I think that's just the way he laughs. But and we've all done this, right? We think something is funny, but we sort of want to make it, we want the other person to really, think that the laugh is that much genuine, and you sort of force it a bit. I think that's what he did. And it was just way too much, maybe. But yeah, he's getting it pretty bad on Twitter.
Yeah. And I honestly think that it was a true laugh, but it was almost like a lazy laugh. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. That's a better way to put it.
Yeah, it didn't come out right. And then when someone laughs, they're showing you their honest and true selves. And so that's something that a lot of people can't even control. So I feel bad that people, and you guys know I'm savage on Twitter, but that I just felt really bad. So you're probably not going to see me making fun of his laugh.
When the Celtics play the Raptors too, people are going to be, oh man, Celtics Twitter is they're going to be playing that all throughout the entire game, especially when if he doesn't play well, you're going to see that a lot. But not from you though, right?
No, I mean, I try to keep it civil with people and players unless they come for me or my family or even my team. I'm kind of protective of the other guys who are on the team as well. Just cause, as a fan, you always are. But like I said, especially when it's my family is when I feel I get the most protective. And then moving on to the Bucks, I feel Giannis is obviously terrifying, and I'm a total fan of his when we're not playing him because he's just fun to watch.
He's the new LeBron of the East. I mean, that's sort of the unofficial title, heading into the season. And he just does a little bit of everything. It's just an amazing talent. It's incredible what he's able to do and how he's, put that team on his back. Chris Middleton, another a difference maker that we saw throughout the postseason last year. So yeah, they're hungry. They feel like they blew it, in that game 7, and they're ready to come back and give the Celtics a run for their money.
Yeah, for sure. And I was also going to say, as far as Philly goes, I know Celtics Twitter has really been wanting me to get in on, especially the Ben Simmons shoot a 3, you coward thing. But honestly, I'm pretty cool with his sister Liv.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. So he's off limits. You're not going to get into it.
I mean, I feel unless, there's a line crossed or anything, I think basketball families for the most part understand each other, and there's this level of mutual respect. And so I kind of want to keep that. And I know a lot of people have tweeted me and have been isn't that so funny? Haha, or join in on the fun. And I'm just I'm going to probably sit out. But of course I want to beat Philly. And of course I think we can beat Philly. And, I'm not going to stop cheering for us or anything when we play Philly. We beat them without Gordon and Kyrie. So they're not really a huge, they don't keep me up at night or anything. So those are my thoughts. Yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
But what did Al say? I'm sure you shot him a couple of texts. What did he say? How's he feeling about the squad? And well, give us some insight.
The inside scoop. Honestly, like, first of all, being a dad for Al comes first. So he's like, has this new baby and they've been everywhere with the kids and they've just been out enjoying the off season and so busy with that. But basketball wise, he's like super excited. I think he's just super stoked and he's ready for this team to kind of step out and make an impact and really, prove people wrong. I think he's one of those people who obviously, doesn't go out there and like talk shit and stuff like that. He proves it with the way he plays and the way that he helps his team. So that's always going to be his main focus and his main priority. So, but there is like this like little buzz and level of excitement that I feel like is just enhanced. And so I think they're, like you said, they're ready to just get out there and start showing people what they can do. So I'm hoping that they, can gel and really, prove everyone wrong.
Yeah, I just feel like everyone's got each other's back too. You can see that. You see the closeness, and you saw it last year, and you're seeing it more now because, and this is a common theme throughout media day, and Brad Stevens sort of set the tone when he first stepped to the podium, and they're still upset about Game 7. I know the Cavaliers are pretty much, they're not going to be a threat to the Celtics this upcoming season, but that game really left a foul taste in their mouth, and they haven't forgotten about that because in their minds, they're like, we should have went to the NBA Finals. We should have gotten a taste of the Warriors before, Kyrie Irving and Hayward came back, which obviously would have been an amazing story. But I don't think anyone was sort of like, oh man, the Celtics blew it in Game 7. I mean, I guess some people were, but it was all gravy at that point, like they had no business in some sense of heading to the NBA Finals and taking on the Warriors and knocking off the, LeBron James and the Cavs, but they were pretty damn close. And it just speaks volumes to how competitive and how talented this group really is.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, no one expected us to even go 7 games with the Cavs.
Nope. Yep.
I don't know. I feel like we exceeded expectations without Kyrie, without Gordon. Terry, killed it. Jason killed it. Jalen killed it. Al's just trying to hold it all together, be the dad and like be the, the cornerstone and whatnot. And even, Marcus and just everyone kind of came together. And I think that you're right. I think that's going to really set a fire under them for this next season. So I'm really excited to see how they use that and move forward and whatnot.
I'd like to take a minute to talk to you guys about FabFitFun. FabFitFun is a seasonal subscription box delivered 4 times a year with full-size fashion, beauty, home, fitness, and wellness products for just $49.99 a box. And the FabFitFun Fall Box is here. I've already tried out my vegan leather Vince Camuto Luck Tote and my Cobra wireless headphones, and I'm so excited to try the rest of the products in my box. Again, these are full-size products, no samples of anything, and they're a fantastic value because many of the products' individual value is more than the entire cost of the box. And the total retail value of the Fall Box is over $275. Sign up for FabFitFun today to get your Fall Box. The FabFitFun Fall Box is in limited supply, and these boxes always sell out. Use my code HORFORD to get $10 off your first box. Go to fabfitfun.com to sign up and start getting the box for a life well lived. Use promo code HORFORD to get $10 off your first box. That's over $200 for only $39.99. Go to fabfitfun.com and use my code HORFORD to get $10 off your first FabFitFun box.
I did want to ask you, okay, so I try to catch like Celtics games like in Boston. I think for the past like 2 seasons, I've gone almost every other month or like every 2 months. I live in Michigan, so it's hard for me to get out there. But one thing that Maria and I always like complain about is the music and any like halftime performances or anything like that. Like, what is up with that in Boston? And like, is that just like the Boston culture? Like, who are like,
what do you mean? What's wrong with the music?
I just feel like it's like a little poppy and a little like G-rated. And I don't know, like in Atlanta, they have a DJ and Maria and I, like, we just like want to go and like have fun. Like we have a couple drinks and it's always like a really good time. But I do think that they need to step up their game. They've stepped up their game on social media, which is cool. Like whoever is handling the Twitter account now is doing so much better than they did the first season Al was there. But, so I don't know. I feel like, just making it just like, I don't know, even more entertaining. The fans themselves are entertaining.
Like, what, so you don't like Cotton Eye Joe? Is that what you're saying? You don't like Cotton Eye Joe? Or I like to move it? I don't know. One of those songs. It's funny because those are songs that I've been hearing at the Garden, or at least back then when I was a kid at the Fleet Center. I used to hear those songs all the time and they still play them. And, Jump Around is another one. Yeah, they're a little all over the place. That's true. And then after that, they'll play like some hardcore like Drake or 2 Chainz. And it's just like, okay, all right, we're switching it up a bit. And then they'll play like reggaeton sometimes. And it's like, okay. It's like, yeah, it's a little all over the place.
Maybe I'm going to the wrong games because like all the games Maria and I go to, I feel like it's like Kesha, Cotton Eye Joe, pop music. And we just like, I don't know. I think that's one thing. I know that they are working on like the renovations, right? At TD Garden.
Yeah, they have to work on that.
Wait, so where are they with that even? Like, is it even remotely close to being done?
They're not, it was supposed to be done before the start of the season, but it's not looking that way right now. They want to put like restaurants and it's almost like a mall inside the Garden, but they've come a long way though. It definitely, you'll see the difference whenever you come up, the first game you go to. But, yeah, it's going to be a lot in terms of the traffic and, the congestion, because it's already pretty congested over there. They built a bunch of, brand new condos that are right near the Garden and, there's a lot going on, but it's going to be pretty cool to see when it all comes together.
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool when it's done. It's just like, it's such a clusterfuck right now.
It is. I was going to say that, but yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Josue, we swear on my podcast.
I know. I listen. And I don't know. Yeah, I can loosen up a bit. You're right. See, I don't have the wine. That's what it is. I need the wine.
Mm-hmm. And you're trying to be like TV ready right now, but no, you don't have to worry about that here.
Yeah, you were saying it before we started too. You're like, this is casual. Let's just kick it and chill. And you were like, damn, why you don't have the wine though? I'm like, I know. I'm at the Celtics practice facility, which would be pretty funny if I just popped out a bottle of wine and just, started sipping over here, over in the facility.
Yeah, that would be funny. I'm getting like lit over here. Josue's like cold stone sober. So whatever.
I got a caffeine buzz. I got the coffee flowing over here.
Okay, well, I respect that for sure. And then I was also going to ask you, just because you're a Bostonian, and what do you think, just for my followers and stuff? I don't know if anyone's, I'm sure people are going to be planning on going to the games and stuff, but what do you feel like are the best places to hit up, like before and after games?
Oh, good question. There's a few spots. I mean, but like it's sort of all the same. I hate to say it like that, but it pretty much is. I mean, I like, West End Johnny's is nice. They have a nice setup, a lot of nice lounge chairs that you can chill in, it doesn't get too like crowded. Whereas you have other places that, like sticky floors and it's kind of like really packed. I'm thinking of one in particular and, all the Celtics fans know exactly what I'm talking about. Sullivan's Tap. I mean, but if you want to walk in and feel like you're in like 1995 or something, then that's the place to go. You got the sticky floor. You got the Papa Shot basketball hoops behind you. They actually have a pretty cool bar. Embedded inside the bar are old, stubs from the Garden, from the old Garden to the Fleet Center. It's sort of like a time warp. It's kind of cool if you want to go. It depends what you're into, I guess. But then there's also Causeway Street, and I'm not just saying that because it's the name of my podcast, but that's a pretty cool spot. They have good barbecue there. So there's a couple of spots. The Greatest Bar is always cool. It gets pretty loud in there. It's actually a cool spot to go to after the game as well. Place turns into a club, but for the most part, I say those are the spots that I like. It depends what you're into. Those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head right now. Oh, actually, okay. You know what? Hurricane O'Reilly's I like too. I haven't been there in a while. I've been so busy with covering games. It's been a while when I've actually got a chance to actually be a spectator at the Garden. But that used to be a spot that I like to go to.
Yeah, I think Sullivan's follows me on Twitter and they've tweeted about me like that I should come in for a drink or whatever.
Oh shit!
And
I know. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
No, and I know that I think a couple people said it's a little bit more divey, but
Yeah, that's the word. I didn't want to say like that, but that's a good way to put it. But it's cool. It's cool if you want to. I always say like, man, I feel like I'm in like old school, like Boston, the way most bars used to be back in the day, you know?
definitely. And I don't mind dive bars, actually. I know you guys probably think I'm a bougie bitch, but no, like, it's cool.
I don't think that, I don't think that, right, Anna? But
yeah, you know me a little bit better than just the average nerd. But no, I'd be so down to do that. So let's go next time we're in Boston.
I'm down. Let's do it. We can do the pop-up shot too. We'll see how many shots you can make under a minute. That's always fun. Once the drinks start flowing and the competitiveness comes out of people, it's fun to play.
Okay, the alcoholic in me literally thought that you meant like taking shots at
like
first.
Popping shots?
Like you guys call them nips because you're weird, but
whoa, wait a minute. What do you guys call it?
Shooters.
Wait, what?
Like those little shots. Yeah.
Oh, shooters are like those little like test tube things that people pass out at like the club.
Okay, but no one calls them nips. That's just so weird. I think that's a weird.
Everyone calls them nips. I don't even know where it originated from, but like that's just the way. Since I've been alive, that's what they're called. That's funny. I didn't know you guys don't call them nips.
No, that's weird.
So did you never hear that term until Al Horford came to the Celtics?
Right, yeah. And then people are like, oh, you're going to go out to the bar and, drink some nips or shoot some. And I'm like, what? I'm not an
infant. That's funny. Shooters.
Like, I'm not a child. That's weird and creepy to me that they're called nips, but I mean, you have your own flair for everything, I feel like. So
you guys also have like a pretty strong accent. I didn't realize until I went to Detroit over the summer. I'm like, wow, you guys like a lot of people have like this accent. I mean, you don't have it, but like what are some terms that are like, what's like Detroit sayings? Are there like terms that you guys use that like is not used? I mean, everyone knows the Boston terms like wicked and, the accent is thick. What's something that the people from Detroit say?
I'm trying to think right now. That's weird because I don't know. It's just so Midwest. Like when we bump into people, we say, "Oh," like we're like, "Oh, sorry," or like, and we also actually know how to use manners. Like I love you guys, but you guys are horrible in that aspect.
Oh, massholes, of course. I listen, Anna. When you live in the Northeast and you gotta freeze your ass off for like 5 months out of the year. I mean, people get bitter, I guess, but it's true. We're pretty bad, but it's just the way it is. It's like the culture. It's like if someone, you're walking by someone and they're like, hey, like a stranger's like, hey, how's it going? How are you? We'll look at you like, do I know you? Like, why are you greeting me like this? Whereas I saw the difference in Detroit. That's true. People were really, really friendly over there. The Midwest.
Yeah. And I mean, you'd think that like you guys always having amazing sports teams, you think that'd keep you guys warm at night, but it must not be enough for you.
But you can speak to this though when you're at the games though. People are very nice. Everyone is friends with everyone. It's just after you leave the Garden, it's back to the old story, I guess. The bitter Bostonians. It's true.
People are sometimes too nice at games. Like the last home game I went to last season, Maria and I were obviously, repping Al's number and stuff. So I think, and Ian was sitting with us, Al's oldest little nugget, and the kid next to me was so drunk and like all he kept saying was like, yeah, Al Horford, he's so amazing, he's so underrated, I love him, like, yeah, like he was just trying so hard, I feel like, to like be polite about it, which was super nice, but it like got to the point where I was like, you don't just have to cheer for him, it's okay. Like,
yeah, and then like 10 minutes later he forgets that he already said that to you and just kept saying it over and over. I mean, it's gonna be even like crazier this year. I can't imagine, being in the crowd. I gotta take a couple games in this year. I'm gonna get some tickets and maybe take a game off or two just to sort of take in a game. It's been a while.
I'm really, really excited. I think it's gonna be really good.
When are you coming to Boston?
I wanted to come next month, but we're actually going to be seeing Al in Detroit. And then I think I'm actually going to go out to Utah in November. So, but I think regardless, we're going to be in Boston in either October or November for our first trip. So I'll definitely keep you posted and we'll go out and we'll have some weird ass nips and
I'll sneak some in. Yeah, that's right.
And go to the game. I can't get too like drunk before the game. If we win, we can go out and party after. But I think if Al saw, that we were sloppy, like eating all the food in the family room and just being like, I don't think that would be.
Yeah. But yeah, let's do it. We'll set it up. That'll be fun. Maybe we'll do it like a impromptu podcast before and after because people can see the effects.
Oh no, that would be a horrible idea.
Come on, let's do it. It'll be one of your unreleased episodes that you'll just drop sometime down the road. It'll be funny. You and Maria have great chemistry. You guys, it's fun listening to you two together on the podcast.
People say that so much, and it's usually because Maria's high as balls. Like,
it's good. It makes for good radio. It's a good listen. I love the episode you guys talked about the old trends because it reminded me of the crazy stuff I used to wear back in the day.
Dude, you know what sucked about that episode was that, like, some of the trends I talked about, I didn't realize some of my friends still did.
So you just, like, shat on their style for, like, 20 minutes?
Yeah, I'm sitting there, like, hoeing my friends. I'm like, nose rings are so 2004. And, yeah, 3 of my girlfriends were like, you're a bitch. I was funny. Like, I'm so sorry, but I had to tell it to you straight. That's one of the good things about being my friend. I'll always be honest with you. So
I can see that. They're like, oh, that's how you feel, Anna? Oh, okay. So I'm not with the times. I'm not hip. I'm not cool. I would have been like, all right, well, let me know what I need to do to be cool, I guess, Anna. That's what I probably would have said if I was them.
No, for sure. So, okay, let's wrap this up because I know you have places to be. And thank you, Josue, for joining me on this episode. It was really fun.
Absolutely. Thanks for hitting me up. This is nice to sort of walk away from a laptop or listening to the recordings of a scrum and just kind of kick back and talk, and just kick it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I just want to thank all you guys for tuning in to this episode. And I also wanted to give a quick shout out to the We Wear Blue campaign with Mission 108 to help fight human trafficking because I've been raising money all the month of September. And wow, this wine's like getting to me. I can't even talk. I really appreciate everyone who donated. If you donated $1, if you donated $5, $100, it was greatly appreciated. You can donate through the end of the month, and the link is on my Twitter. And so yeah, I really do appreciate that as well. And I will talk to you guys again next week.